folks, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about fishing gear and more specifically salmon lines and monofilaments and stuff. We are in trouting season. Salmon season is coming up very soon, and as everybody is probably aware, if you're into that, getting your gear ready, your reels and such, leaders and whatever. So I'm going to take a few minutes here now just to go over a couple things that I do in preparation for salmon season, and I want to review just a couple knots common knots that might help somebody out if you're into fishing and stuff. I've seen these knots on YouTube and other channels, and I've used them myself, so I know that they work. So just want to go through a couple things, and maybe you're interested in that, and we'll see what other stuff we get into. All right. So first, guys, let's talk about some of the gear that I use. My personal reel is a Redington Crosswater. This is actually a new reel for me. I did have an older reel, White River, that I've used for many years. And now this will be my backup reel, and this is my new reel. But basically, I got a number 7/8 line on it with a tapered leader, and first things I do during the start of the season is I unreel the line and clean it. I just basically get a wet cloth with some dish soap on it, and I just take the entire, I won't do it on this video, take the entire line out and clean it, especially the floating line. Right? Clean this line so that it's nice and malleable, no cracks in it. Check the line, check your leader, make sure there's no knots in it, and then you're that much better prepared for when you get on the river and not getting surprises where your leader cracks up or your leader breaks because you got a knot in it or something like that. But anyway, just take that extra few minutes to review your line on your reel. Okay. So this will be easier actually once the reel is on the rod. But anyway, so clean your line, inspect your line, make sure that it's in good shape. Other couple of things I have in my arsenal is I have some pre-made tapered leaders. These leaders have got the perfection loop on them, so when you do the loop connection between your leader and your salmon line, floating line, and I'll go through that now, and later on in the video I'm going to go through a couple knots and how to connect the leader to the line and stuff. So I got some of that. I have some floating aids for some dry flies. I have a Super Float, and basically this is a liquid form product. You put it on your dry fly, rub it around, and then swirl your dry fly so it gets to dry it out, and it helps to make your flies float a little better. Just a Canadian Tire product that I pick up and use along the way. There's many other ones out there. Gink is another one that I know people use, and I've used that before. I just don't have any at the moment. And it helps your dry fly float really high in the water, so it's something that I have in my fly vest. Another one out there is a powder form, and basically, and I won't open this. Let's see. Don't make a mess. This is a little messier. You can see it's powder. Basically, it's a powder. You stick your fly in there, close it up, and shake it. Shake it with the fly in there. Take it out, dust it off, and it helps your fly float again. Dry flies float on the water. Other things in my arsenal, some tippets. Some people use tippets. Other people use loop-to-loop connection to connect your leaders to your fly line, and so on. So tippets is something else I have in my vest. And of course I have my vest, and over here. Go over here. So your fly vest, and there's a bunch of stuff in here, guys. I won't go through everything. You know, you've got your pair of clippers or nippers, whatever you want to use. In my vest, I know right now that I have a pair of cutters. Right? I use the cutters or the clippers depending on what I'm trying to cut. It's just handy to have there. A pair of needle nose pliers. I use these just if you got a problem with removing a hook, and I take this trouting or whatever too. I know with salmon fishing you're supposed to have legally have to use barbless hooks, so it makes it a little bit easier to get the fly back out of the salmon's mouth and so on. Let's see what else I have in here. This is something that a guy in Labrador actually told me about. Basically, it's 2 beer caps screwed to a little piece of wood. Okay, and what to use this for is if you catch a salmon and you want to quickly scrape the scales off it, this is a dandy little tool. It scrapes scales quickly off a salmon. Like I said, a gentleman in Labrador, I was on the Pinware River, he showed me this and I used it, and it is a little awesome tool to put in your pack. So it quickly cleans the scales off your salmon if you want to clean it at the river. Nice little homemade jobby. Of course, I have a scale, the hook on it. Basically, this one is, as you can tell, it's been around for a while. I'm sure you can get nice newer scales now, digital scales and so on. I'll just give you a quick check for how size of your salmon. And on the other side here, of course, we have the flies, and I got an assortment of flies. I mean, there's people that got cases and cases of flies. I don't have that many, but basically some wet flies there and so on. The blue charm, you can see that or not. It's a fly that's used quite often in Newfoundland rivers. Blue charm, see that? Yeah. And an assortment of flies. I had these for years. A few bugs and so on. Like I said, I use them. This is the best I use. Take trouting too, so I got some trout flies in there also. And again, another case with flies, salmon, and these are I had to keep my my bugs and stuff. So this is where they hang out, and these are the ones that I would use the floating liquid on, or powder. Okay, that's basically what I have in my vest. Of course, my license is in there, and tags, of course, and so on. So that's basically all the gear I have. My rod is, I don't have my rod there right now, but I use a 9-foot Shakespeare rod. I've had it for years, so it's nothing fancy about the rod, but it works. And a pair, of course, waders and such, and fly nets and fly repellent. Don't get fly repellent on your salmon line, by the way. Anyway, everybody knows that who is into salmon fishing. Other thing I have in my vest is some backup monofilament leader line, and this again is from Canadian Tire. I use a 10-pound leader. This is called Ultra Green by Maxima, and but you can get this in all different colors, anything you want, depending on what type of leader line you want to put in your use in your arsenal. Anyway, so that's gear that I use. I'm going to talk about some of the knots that I incorporate when using this gear. All right, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, first thing I want to talk about is the loop at the end of your salmon line, okay, your floating line. I use a loop at the end of the line. Some people use actually tippets. These tippets come in a package, usually a package of 3, and basically it's a braided attachment that goes on the end of your salmon line, and it uses friction as it goes all the way up the line. Like so, you put that on the line. I'm going to put it on this one, but put it all the way up the line, and it holds it in place. It's got a little heat shrink coating on it that you heat up afterwards. Basically, it holds on the end of your line using friction, and it creates a similar type of loop like this, like I've created here. Okay. Sometimes I use tippets, but I've had tippets come off on me at times, and maybe it's just me not putting them on correctly. But anyway, they work. I have them in my pack just as backup for sure. But back to my salmon line here. This is one of my backup salmon line. I usually tie a loop at the end of the salmon line, and I also use a loop-to-loop connection to connect the leader to that line. Okay. Now these two loops are called perfection loops, and I'll show you in a minute how to tie that. But if you notice, my salmon line is that it has a green polymer on it that helps it to float, floating line. I actually remove the green polymer at the end of my line before I tie this loop. Okay. And I show you in a second here now how I remove that green polymer. But basically all I do is I take a piece of monofilament, I loop it around the green polymer, draw it tight to a knot, and pull apart, and that green polymer will strip off and left you with the inside braided salmon line. Okay. All right, so I want to make this perfection loop at the end of the line once I have my polymer removed. Okay, and in order to do that, this one's already made, and I'm going to leave it right there, but I'm just going to show you how to do it using this piece of twine. Okay, it's the same procedure, and it works every time, and it's a strong knot to use at your line. So you would create this perfection loop, like here, this perfection loop, both on your leader, on your salmon line, and on your leader line, monofilament. Okay, now this here is a prepackaged tapered leader that I bought, again, Canadian Tire, and it also already has a loop on it, so I'll just leave that there for now. But how do you create this loop? Okay, so take your piece of salmon line or monofilament, whatever you're doing, just make a loop, just put the loop right behind itself like that. It's called loop number one. Make sure, and again, make sure you leave yourself lots to work with. So just do a simple loop, put it behind itself. Do that again, behind itself once more for the second loop, and then just manipulate this and pinch it at that point. So now you've got two loops together, one basically on top of the other. Okay, and take the end of your tag line of your line, your either salmon line or your monofilament. Take that in and then just pull it between those two loops, not through the loop, just between the two loops as they lay flat there. Pinch that. Okay, then reach from behind the larger loop, grab the small loop, and pull straight through. Okay, what you end up with is what's called a perfection knot, perfection loop, perfection knot, and that is a very strong knot. It's not going to break, and it's in place once it's there. That's the same knot that's on this line, but I did it on this piece of twine so that you could see it much better. So let's do that again. So you just basically create the loop. Let me cut this off here first, guys, so I can something to work with. So put the loop in behind, create another loop in behind that. So you get two loops together. Take your tag in, pull it between the two loops, hold it, pull on that inner loop. Okay, and there's your perfection loop. All right, so like I said, that's the same loop that's on this line and the same loop that's on my monofilament. Now I want to connect my monofilament to the salmon line. How do you do that? It's called a loop-to-loop connection. Loop-to-loop connection. So basically, first thing you do is you take your salmon line, pass it through your leader line, all the way through, past the knot, then take the end of your leader line, tapered leader, and I have an elastic band on this because it was on my rod. Pass it through your leader line, leader loop, go past the knot, take your leader, then end of your leader line. Once I find it, take the end of your leader line, pass it up through the loop in the salmon line, and pull it straight through like so. Gotta get it past it. Okay, and now what you end up with is you've got two loops get past the knots. You have two loops that are lying flat with each other, and I hope you can see that. See that they lie flat, okay? All you do then is squeeze it a bit and then draw it tight. Now that is a strong loop-to-loop connection, okay? And if the beauty about this thing, and I like it, is that if I break a leader, break a tapered leader, lose a hook, whatever, and I want to change my leader, it's as simple as process of just loosening up that knot and then go back out through again, take that leader off. I don't have to cut any monofilament, don't have to cut any line with snippers or whatever. So once you get them, and this is key here, make sure that these two loops lie flat. If you just draw that tight and that loop goes over like that, we end up with this type of situation. See that, how that's gone back on itself? That can create a cutting point, and that'll cut your leader or cut your salmon line, and you could end up losing fish. All right, so make sure before you draw it tight, just make sure that both lie flat like that, and pull, and then there you go. So those lie flat, and that's it. So that's a loop-to-loop connection. There are many other connections out there, guys. I've tried them and I haven't had much success with them in terms of trying to tie them. There's an all-bright knot. There's a modified all-bright knot. Those people do use them. There are guys on YouTube that can tie them very nicely. I haven't been able to master that yet, so I won't show you that type of thing. But basically, that's how I connect my salmon line to my leader using a loop-to-loop connection. And this will feel, if you're getting it to the end and you're trying to get your salmon close, this will actually go through the eye of the salmon rod pretty easily. There's no big knots to hook up in. All right. So hope you enjoyed that, guys. Stay tuned. The contest winner will be selected in an upcoming video. And appreciate you watching. Appreciate all the subscribers. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and don't forget to leave a comment to enter the contest. Talk to you later. We are getting close to 500 subscribers, and that's excellent. Thanks to all my subscribers, and appreciate everybody watching my videos. So as promised, I'm going to have a contest for my 500 subscribers, and fix my hair. Basically, gonna give away a couple of prizes in appreciation for that. So one prize I'm giving away is one of these ball hats with my logo on it. Not this particular one. This is the one. This is mine, but I have a couple of brand new ones, and you'll be getting one of those. And in addition to that, we are into trouting season, so I figured I'd just pick up a couple basic Red Devil lures and include that with the hat as a prize package for the contest. So how do you enter the contest? Well, it's simple. It's like we always do in my videos. If you're interested in entering contests, all you need to do is leave a comment in this video. Doesn't matter what the comment is. If you like something, dislike something, just leave a comment and your name will be entered in the contest. I use a automatic comment selector. You can get them on the internet. Pick the YouTube video, and then it'll automatically go through the comments and select a winner from that. Just note that if you see this video through Facebook and leave a comment in Facebook, it won't be entered into the contest because the comment selector does not go to Facebook and pick comments from that. You have to actually log into YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and then leave a comment in there within YouTube. Okay, so just remember that. Also with contests on YouTube, we always see these spammers, and you'll get a message in your comments saying, oh, you've won, click this link here. Do not click the link. These are spammers. I will not tell you that you won the contest via a comment in the YouTube video. I will be releasing a new separate video in which I will do the contest draw, and the winner will be selected live, and then I will contact the winner afterwards via email or whatever, and we'll arrange to get your prize. Okay, so any comment that you get back saying you've won, it's not me, it's some spammer out there, and it's rampant all over YouTube, so just be aware of that. So again, if you like to enter a contest, leave a comment, might get some lures, and a cool hat. All right, guys, good luck to everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.